The Little Lost Frog. Deep in the rainforest lived a small frog named Max. He's a very adventurous frog. He loves to hop around the lily pads and jump on all the tree branches he could find. On a rainy morning, Max and his friend Baxter decided to go out and skip around the lily pads at a nearby river. The river was filled with yummy bugs like flies and mosquitoes, and all sorts of things that growing frogs need and love. When they arrived at the river, they began with a small contest to see who could catch the most bugs. Max and Baxter both agreed that the winner would become king of the river. With big smiles on their faces, they began collecting bugs as fast as they could. Max yelling, "I've got the lead," and he did have the lead. He had caught 7 bugs so far. Baxter had only 5. As the contest continued, Max was getting carried away by hopping further and further away. And he didn't notice because he was only thinking about winning and being king of the river. Soon enough, Baxter had lost Max, and Max had lost Baxter. Baxter was too far, but he attempted to call out for Max. Sadly, Max was too far to hear his friend calling. Max was lost and scared, so he began to hop around to the nearest tree. He knew he needed to get to high ground to see if he could spot the big red tree. Sadly, he could not see anything but lush green trees. While hopping along hopelessly, he spotted a beautiful colored toucan who was eating at a nearby tree. He was happy to see that he wasn't all alone anymore. Max greeted the toucan and said, "Hello, my name is Max the Frog." The toucan replied, "Well, hello, little frog. What are you doing out here all by yourself?" Max replied, with all that had happened with him getting lost, the toucan asked, "Do you need help finding your family and friends? I could fly around and see if I can spot someone for you." Max, happy that she had asked, he replied with a big smile and agreed to take the help he was offered. The toucan flew up and down the river to see if she could spot his friends, Baxter or even the big red tree. Sadly, she couldn't seem to see anyone, so she offered Max a ride on her back. Max was a bit nervous because he had never flown before, but after a bit, he felt great with the wind making him feel as he was flying all on his own. While searching, they noticed Baxter hopping towards home. Relieved and happy, he yelled, "Baxter, up here!" As Baxter looked up, the toucan flew right by him. Excited Baxter was happy that his friend seemed to have been found. He asked if he could fly too. "Of course," said Toucan. So Baxter hopped on her back nervously, and they began to fly high in the sky. After a bit, Baxter said, "We should probably head home now, Max. Your mom is a bit worried about you since I've told her what happened." So Baxter pointed the way home, and they found the big red tree. Once they landed, Max hopped towards his mom, explaining everything that happened. She only smiled and said, "I'm just happy you're okay, Max." She thanked the toucan for helping Max and Baxter. Toucan replied, "It's my pleasure, Mrs. Frog." As Toucan flew away, they waved goodbye. Everyone seemed to be happy that Max and Baxter were okay and safe, but Mrs. Frog was a bit worried, so she said, "Max and Baxter, please be more careful next time you play near the river, and remember to be aware of your surroundings so that you won't get lost again. The rainforest is a very big place, and you two are but little frogs." Max and Baxter both smiled and understood as they hopped away to play at the pond. The end.